National Security Advisor Dr. Mueed Yusuf told the United States Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman during a meeting in Islamabad that the international community must engage with the new Taliban-led government in Afghanistan. Sherman, after CIA Chief Bill Burns, is one of the first high-level officials under President Joe Biden to visit Pakistan. During the Islamabad meeting, the two sides discussed the evolving situation in the region after the Taliban takeover. Both Pakistan and the US expressed the desire to promote their bilateral relations. Yusuf and Sherman also exchanged views on economic cooperation and trade in the war-torn country. The US lauded Pakistan's effort for the evacuation of foreigners from Afghanistan to help and the help it has extended to the Afghan refugees. Yusuf also reiterated Pakistan's stance that the world must maintain contact with the interim government in Afghanistan. He appraised Sherman about Indian atrocities in occupied Kashmir and said Indian blatant human rights violations in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir also pose threat to regional peace. Pakistan Navy and Royal Saudi Naval Forces commenced their bilateral exercises named Nasim al-Bahar 13 in the Arabian Sea, aimed at sharpening professional skills and promoting bilateral relations between both forces. These exercises are being held regularly between both the naval forces, which consists of aircraft of both the forces, and joint conduct of maritime security operations, according to Pakistan Navy spokesman. The practice would hone professional skills of maritime operations and it is aimed at promoting bilateral relations. Meanwhile, Pakistan Navy, Royal Saudi Naval Forces and the Air Force conducted an impressive firepower display in the Arabian Sea. Eid Milad-un-Nabi will be observed on October 19 since the Ruet-e-Hilal committee announced that the Rabi-ul-Awal moon has been seen. The moon was sighted after the Ruet-e-Hilal committee met under the chairmanship of Maulana Abdul Khabir Azad and chaired a meeting of moon sighting. Maulana Azad shared the astronomical conditions for sighting the new crescent and stated that it is very clear in many areas of the country. US Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman is set to arrive in Islamabad today. Sherman, after CIA Chief Bill Burns, will be one of the first high-level officials under President Joe Biden to visit Pakistan. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government has reportedly exempted an 8-member US delegation led by Sherman from the coronavirus rapid antigen test upon their arrival. The US delegation will reach the Islamabad International Airport through a chartered flight. Prime Minister Aryan Khan, in an opinion piece published last month in the Washington Post, had called his country a convenient scapegoat. In Afghanistan, the lack of legitimacy for an outsider's protracted war was compounded by a corrupt and inept Afghan government, seen as a puppet regime without credibility, especially by rural Afghans. He had written, elaborating on themes in his address Friday to the UN General Assembly. Former Prime Minister Shahid Khan Abbasi alleged on Thursday that the amended National Accountability Ordinance has been designed to cover up the incumbent government's embezzlement. Addressing the media, Abbasi shared the National Accountability Bureau's powers have been reduced under the amended ordinance. He claimed that the anti-corruption watchdog can no longer raise questions on the appointment of corrupt people in institutions. Following the amendment, the accountability watchdog will not be able to ask about tax evasion and hiding of assets. It will also not be able to question the 700 people named in the Pandora Papers, alleged the PMLN leader. The former Prime Minister claimed that the amendment prevents NAB from investigating medicine and oil price hike scandals, import of the world's most expensive LNG and robberies of ministries. Terming the ordinance malicious and a black law, he alleged the amendment would cripple the Bureau from interrogating the billions embezzled in the wheat and sugar crisis, neither would it be able to probe the decisions made by the federal cabinet. The Sindh High Court observed that Provincial Secretary Finance signed billions of rupees memorandum of understanding with State Life Corporation for group insurance of Sindh employees without authorization from Sindh Chief Secretary. It said that the Provincial Chief Secretary, being chairman of the Provincial Welfare Funds, was the competent authority to sign the MOU. The court on Thursday was hearing dozens of identical petitions of several sittings and retired provincial secretaries and heirs of deceased employees of the Sindh government, challenging inordinate delay in settling insurance claims and payment of insurance policy at attaining the age of 65 years. Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa has directed troops stationed in Balochistan to provide all-out assistance to civil government and local administration in rescue, relief and rehabilitation efforts being carried out in the earthquake-hit areas. The Army Chief told them to help mitigate difficulties faced by the affected population of earthquake-hit areas of Balochistan, said the Inter-Services Public Relation on Friday. Personnel of the Pakistan Army are already busy in rescue and relief operations in earthquake-hit areas of Harnai. According to the ISPR, Army doctors and paramedics with necessary medicines are assisting the civil administration in every possible way. President Dr. Arif Alvi and Prime Minister Imran Khan also condoled over the losses of life and properties due to the disaster in Balochistan. Shahzeb Ahmad, a 14-year-old boy from Balochistan, was not sure whether he was dreaming or it was for real when a powerful earthquake rattled his house in the wee hours of Thursday. I was in my deep sleep when I felt that my bed was shaking intensely. I thought I was having a bad dream. While I was still in the process of figuring out the situation, the walls around my room collapsed suddenly, injuring me and my two younger siblings sleeping next to me, Ahmad told Xinhua while lying in a bed hospital in Harnai district of the province. There was a chaotic situation. My neighborhood was in an uproar. Before I lost my consciousness due to the overwhelming fear, I could hear people crying out for help as they got trapped under the rubble of their collapsed houses. Women and children were screaming from pain, he said. When I regained my consciousness, I was in a hospital full of injured people, including my sister and a brother. The first Gamma Knife facility, recently inaugurated by Sindh Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah at the Dow University Hospital in Karachi, is now fully operative and ready to treat lesions in the human brain free of cost for needy patients. Gamma Knife Surgery Department head Dr. Muhammad Abid Salim speaking to BOL News on Thursday, said gamma knife surgery is a method that uses radiation and a computer-guided planning to treat brain tumors, vascular malformations, and other abnormalities in the brain. He said that the gamma knife was helpful for patients who had developed brain tumor that could not be treated by traditional surgery techniques, or if the patient was unable to undergo surgery due to severe illness or age. The procedure does not involve any incisions. It is actually a procedure that delivers beam of highly focused radiations, commented Dr. Salim. Euro to PKR on 8 October 2021 is 199.10 rupees. This is the interbank closing exchange rate for the euro to Pakistani rupees, which is provided by the State Bank of Pakistan every day. The government will take measure to improve the standard of research under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor to enhance cotton production, a senior government official said, addressing a ceremony virtually held in connection with the World Cotton Day at the Central Cotton Research Institution. Federal Minister for National Food Security and Research Syed Fakhar Imam said, cotton, which is also known as white gold, was the main crop contributor lion's share to the country's economy, but unfortunately its production has been gradually reducing in the last few years. The minister said the present government has announced 5,000 rupees per 40 kg cotton support price for the year, adding that the cotton growers were getting better cotton prices. All-out efforts were being made for the revival of white gold, despite the cotton cultivation area being reduced by 17% this year compared with the previous year, he said. South Punjab Agriculture Secretary Saqib Ali Atil said the cotton production targets could be achieved by taking all the stakeholders on board. The Agriculture Department was striving hard to enhance per acre cotton yield, and the Agriculture Extension staff remained active to provide proper guidance to the cotton growers. Actress Raveena Tandon has joined Hrithik Roshan in publicly condemning Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan Khan's arrest and subsequent confinement. Following a drug raid on a Goa-bound cruise ship last weekend, Aryan Khan was detained for interrogation and has subsequently been arrested for alleged ties to a drug ring. In a tweet on Friday, Raveena, without taking any names, wrote, "Shameful politics being played out. It's a young man's life and future they're toying with. Heartbreaking." Raveena and Shah Rukh Khan have appeared in several films together. Today, a decision will be made on Aryan's bail petition. His lawyer applied for bail on Thursday, claiming that no drugs had been found on him and that he only knew one other person at the planned cruise party. The new and upcoming film Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City is based on the renowned horror video game franchise Sons of Anarchy. Based on the available video, it appears that it will establish itself apart from the Mila Jovovich films, which, depending on your point of view, may mean a good feature. In March, director Johannes Roberts said, "I had never seen the terror and the atmosphere of the games. I'd never felt that on screen, and I felt that was something I wanted to tell." PCB Chairman Ramiz Raja was told by an investor that a blank check is ready for PCB if Pakistan beats India in the upcoming T20 World Cup. In his meeting with the Senate Standing Committee on Interprovincial Coordination, he stressed the importance of being self-sufficient rather than relying on ICC for funding. Ramiz Raja said, "PCB runs 50% on the funding of the ICC. 90% on funding of the ICC comes from India. I'm afraid that if India stopped funding ICC, then PCB might collapse because PCB gives 0% funding to ICC. I'm determined to make Pakistan cricket strong." One strong investor told me that the blank check is ready for the PCB if Pakistan beats India in the upcoming T20 World Cup. Ramiz has reiterated that a flourishing cricket economy is the need of the hour in Pakistan, and international teams won't pull out of the Pakistan tour if PCB has strong financial backing. He said, "If our cricket economy is strong, we won't be used and then ditched by teams like England and New Zealand." The International Cricket Council on Thursday announced the appointments for Round 1 matches and the Super 12 phase of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021, comprising 20 of the best match officials from around the world. The 16 umpires and 4 match referees finalized for the 45-match tournament include 3 umpires who will be managing in their 6th ICC Men's T20 World Cups: Aleem Dar, Marais Erasmus, and Rod Tucker. A 20-strong group means that for the first time since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, there will be neutral umpires for all matches of the 16-team tournament being played in Muscat, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and Dubai from 17 October to 14 November. Officials have been named for the entirety of the first round of the Super 12s, with the selections for the semi-finals and final of the tournament in the UAE and Oman to be named in due course. Adrian Griffith, ICC Senior Manager, Umpires and Referees, said, "We are delighted to be able to call on some of the world's top officials for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup with a group of 16 umpires and 4 match referees." Children and snakes are probably not a combination that any parent would want to see. However, in a terrifying video that has gone viral, a youngster is shown attempting to pull a giant snake by its tail while his father cheers him on. While the majority were taken aback, not everyone was impressed. Matt Wright, Australian monster croc wrangler, recently uploaded a video of his 2-year-old son Bonjo calmly yanking a gigantic python out of his garden. The shocking footage that was published on Instagram has sparked a massive internet debate. The brave child can be seen firmly holding the 2-meter olive python's tail with both hands and bringing it onto the grass in the footage. When the gigantic snake, which is several times the size of the youngster, tries to wrap itself around the wooden pillar, Wright tells Banjo to pull him out. The toddler is instructed to return the snake's tail while avoiding the teeth by the award-winning tourism operator and host of National Geographic Outback Wrangler. After scrambling to the back end, Wright yells, "Quick, grabbing, he's going to bite Dad." Despite the fact that olive pythons are non-venomous and harmless to humans, many people were upset by the video, claiming that it would encourage the boy to grasp any snake he sees in the future.
बोल ब्रीफ्स की वीडियो सबसे पहले देखने के लिए बोल ब्रीफ्स के चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन पर क्लिक करना ना भूलें।